affiliated to the state rather to regime, because regime will go, but the state will stay. In April 14th, in 2023, we wake up to the war, a dark turn in Sudan history, a reopening long wounds of the past, and a deja vu of painful history, of a lot of conflicts in this country. And it's very important to say that it's not merely two generals fighting or a power sharing or something as it had been portrayed. You have to understand the narrative is this war. It's all about reshaping Sudan, changing demographic setup of the country, moving populations so other people could come, erasing everything that's as a legacy for Sudan. And this war is financed by regional power. UAE is financing it shamelessly, and it's actually with other counterparts from the region, supported by other also international counterparts. That people could not see that's beyond their interest with the UAE. A bunch of people could be dying in Sudan, but it's okay. Our interest is much more important. We cannot overlook that. And this war is all about, because when you see that RSF saying, abusing the word of democracy, saying that they're bringing us democracy by looting houses, killing people of disability because they see them as unuseful to the community, raping women and children, destroying even the museum. You know that our Nubian treasure is actually sold in the internet with $1,000 or even less. They're poisoning genetic labs, destroying genetic banks of very rare plants, and using sexual violence as a weapon of war, because it's cheap, silent, and effective. It leaves no visible ruins, but actually generations of scars. This war is actually about, they want to have a new Sudan upon the bodies of people, upon the bodies of women, upon our own bodies as a battlefield, upon destructions of civilian infrastructure, hospitals, schools, people houses, people saving, looted, and they say they want to save us and to bring us democracy, while people like the regional power, they don't even know democracy for their whole lives. And in Sudan, that we always have this kind of, even in our worst dictatorship time and oppression, we have this spirit of uncontrollable freedom. And in all this in the pretext of they are fighting the Muslim Brotherhoods, the Islamists, the same Muslim Brotherhood we bring down on the revolution of 2019. We won over that. We won that battle before that. And nothing could be brought actually in the bodies of people as at the battlefield. And I have been always in this fine line between being an activist and a civil servant. That's why I have these connections with people, NGOs, community-based protections, survivors, people in diaspora, everybody. The demands from us, from our outreach, yes, and the work is actually impossible. But we have been documenting, the unit I have been heading is documenting the conflict-related sexual violence and coordinating support for survivors. We have seen incidents of women in my age who felt that they are always immune to any unwanted sexual encounters, getting gangly raped and left on the ground, or women of 85 who refused to get support because she felt she was denied her rights to be respected as a grandmother. And this work brought us a lot of things, like we got direct threats, we got smear campaigns, we got character assassinations and attacks to your personal and professional integrity. But this spills away when you see the endurance of what Sudanese women and girls have been enduring. Those women want to be hopeful. They want to be actively doing something for their own community and their own families. They want to be happy and immaculate. They want to wear their best thobes, decorating their hands with henna, and have hopes for futures, and wearing their high heels and celebrate weddings and other things. And despite the heinous act of using sexual violence against them, their strength and endurance cannot be understood. It's much beyond understanding, because they carry on protecting the community cohesion in spite of everything they went through. And they don't actually have time and the luxury of the timing of feeling depressed or angry or even fearful. It's too much. They have to work and to do something for the community as well. This war will end, but the women need to rebuild. Give them small foundations, microfinance, and access to health. They will do the rest.